Please don't try what you're about to see at home.
All right, so the Archimedes death ray burn-off? What the hell is that?
Well, you remember back at the beginning of Series 2 when we tested the myth about Archimedes having created a solar death ray?
I do. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Who could forget this classic myth from the classical era? In 215 BC, the Romans were about to conquer the Greeks until Archimedes saw the light. He supposedly built a giant mirror that focused the sun's energy with such ferocity that it ignited the invading Roman ships. But when the Mythbusters tried it, they busted it big time. Adam built a rig of over 300 mirrors, and by carefully aligning each one, he tried to focus them all to a single hot focal point.
Oh, bright light. Sail away.
Bright it may have been, but it was no more deadly than a flashlight.
What's the temperature, Jamie?
About 150.
150?
Get a minute. 200 degrees.
They peaked at 290 degrees, less than half of what was needed to ignite the wood. So they resorted to something which Archimedes was way too mature for.
So why are we going back here again?
Well, there were a number of viewers that thought we got it wrong, and so what we're going to do is give them a chance to put their money and their time where their mouth is, and they're going to have to design and build and film their version of the mirror that proves us wrong.
And there's got to be two parts to this contest, too. One is they got to build a mirror that can focus and burn something at 5 feet, and another category where they've got to build something that can burn something a minimum of 100 feet away.
But before any big scale showing off, there's just an hour left until the final small scale burn off. And both Brendan and Stephen and Carrie and Jess have been working flat out to get their mini death rays up to speed.
I think the new rig is going to do awesome because we're already lighting stuff on fire with one mirror focused at the correct focal point, and as soon as we get the other 15 there, then it'll start fires like that.
And after 15 hours, the boys' plaster parabola has set, been lined with a reflective foil, and is now ready for a temperature test.
There's definitely heat, but it's more like the heat up a sandwich kind of heat. 109 degrees, 111.
That's not that great.
While Adam desperately polishes it for more power,
That's not a bad idea, actually.
Brendan and Stephen have had a last-minute brainwave.
We're going to create a slight vacuum in this steel drum, and then that, if we put Mylar over that, should form a parabola also.
By carefully controlling the pressure of the vacuum, they should be able to adjust the focal point to 5 feet. It's ingenious, but way beyond Archimedes' technology. And now, for both teams, time's up. For the final small-scale burn-off, it's seconds out.
Ready, set, go.
It's round one, the wood. Remember that this time, the burning needs to take place at exactly 5 feet, or the rig will be disqualified.
5 feet, keep going, keep going, keep going.
And the boys are in hot water.
60-inch mark.
It's not gonna work, Grant. Our parabola is not shallow enough. The focus point is way closer than that.
Sounds like they're forfeiting. They can't burn anything at 5 feet, so it looks like we're going to win. Oh, come on.
The girls' rig may be legal, but it's not that effective. They're getting a lot of smoke, but no fire. And while they wait for ignition, the boys, to avoid disqualification, are switching to their ingenious Plan B. By adjusting the pressure of the vacuum, they've pinpointed their focal point to exactly 5 feet. But like the girls, there's only smoke signals. Given the perfect conditions, can there really ever have been a death ray?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
It's the final decider, and with no fire so far from either team, the pressure's really on. The girls' more traditionally built rig is generating a lot of smoke, but just when it's looking good, the boys take the checkered flag.
We got flame. Flame.
It was a fair fight, but now it's all down to the judges.
Your challenge was to build a device capable of igniting your target at a distance of 5 feet. And based on creative use of materials, excellent scavenging ability, we find that the winners of the small-scale burn-off are Brendan and Stephen. Congratulations.
Worthy winners. But to test the myth thoroughly, it's time for the big guns.
Great.
First step is I'm just going to adjust the aiming mirror, so don't start aiming quite yet.
Professor Wallace is going to position the aiming mirror on the hull, and then all other mirrors will be aligned to that.
These are bronze mirrors at 140 feet. Let's start aiming now.
And they're away. Both speed and precision are vital for this myth. The smaller the bright spot on the boat, the hotter it'll be. And the faster they do it, the more realistic are its weapon capabilities. But 5 minutes in, and they're still aiming.
The Romans are advancing. They're within 100 feet of the walls. We got our aimers ready. Come on, slaves, let's go! Protect your masters!
After masterful Adam's pep talk, the last stands are soon positioned, and their effect is obvious.
Look at that! Dude, we got smoke!
Big time. Look at it coming off the bow. That's a good sign.
Well, it's sizzling and cracking pretty good.
Definitely see a coal black spot right in the middle. It's sizzling. This is awesome. You looking good, MIT?
The boat's getting cooked. It's bubbling, spitting, and smoking. But there's not quite enough heat for ignition.
Well, you know, they say where there's smoke, there's fire, but I don't see any fire yet.
To raise the power of the ray, the team realigned the mirrors to dial in the focus. And the temperature rockets another 50 degrees.
We're up to 450 already.
But it's still just smoke and mirrors. It's either the bronze or the wetness of the wood, but so far MIT can't repeat their car park cook-off. With 1 shot left, the team decides to go for broke.
Okay, can you bring it in to 75 feet, which is half the distance?
Having the distance will significantly boost the power of the beam. And seconds after all the mirrors are aligned onto the charred boat,
Flame!
oh! At last, they have fire.
Congratulations. That's great.
We'll call that a success.
It's been a valiant effort by MIT and the Mythbusters. But remember, the myth is not that sun-reflecting mirrors can cause fire, but that this principle was used by Archimedes as a weapon.